What's up, guys? ArtistVersion1 here, and welcome back to another edition of Stories No One Asked for, the podcast. And in case you forgot already, this podcast is based off a little book that I wrote a couple of years ago. Instead of trying to write a follow-up book, which I've done twice, I think I got halfway through one of them before I was just like, I got nothing. It's kind of sad when you don't know how to write about your own life, you know? I figured, why not just take those stories that I would put into a book eventually and just make a podcast about them. So that's what we're doing here tonight. And tonight we got a doozy here for you. Tonight is, tonight is one of those stories where it's just like, I've seen things, man. But before we talk about tonight's story, I want to give a great shout out over to the people over at MoviesAreUSA.biz, which Stories No One Asked for, the podcast is brought to you by, which is a great website where they have hard to find TV shows and movies that have either never been released on DVD or Blu-ray before, or haven't been released on DVD and Blu-ray in quite a long time. And you can head on over there and find those for a great, reasonable price. And you can use my checkout code, that being ARTIST, ARTIST, at checkout, and get yourself 50% off. And if that wasn't enough for you, they're also going to give you free first-class shipping on top of all that. And let me tell you, man, he ships fast, man. I swear. Sometimes, man, I'll hit send and fucking right away, doorbell rings. And boop, there it is. You know, that's how fast he ships. Not really. Don't expect that shit to happen. But he does ship fast. So just know that there. 3,500 titles to choose from. You know, if you don't want to keep spending, $15 on that service and $10 on another service, $5 on another service, just want certain shows from each of these streaming services, that's what MoviesAreUSA.biz is great for. So head on over there, use that checkout code ARTIST, that is ARTIST, ARTIST, at checkout, save 50%, plus get free shipping on top of all that. Head on over to MoviesAreUSA.biz today. So, tonight's story here is about my one and only encounter on the dark web, or the deep web, whatever you want to call it. So, I guess the best thing to tell you is how I got into this. So, I remember watching Danger Dolan. If you guys remember Danger, or Planet Dolan, I think that's what it was. I think that's like the collective. But I remember watching Danger Dolan. I remember just seeing a video called like top 10 like dark web or deep web story, whatever it was called. And I was, what the hell is that? So I remember clicking. These stories were fucking wild, man. I mean, like, let me hire a hitman to kill my mom on the dark web, and let me order Viagra on the dark, all this shit, and it just really sparked my fascination with the dark web and everything like that, to the point where, like, when that movie Dark Web, or Unfriended Dark Web, came out, I was fucking jazzed, man, because I really wanted to see that movie, which is really weird considering what happens in this story. Because now I'll never fucking touch the dark web again. But, so I was like, you know what? And there's a YouTuber out there called Some Ordinary Gamer. And he used to do dark web digging, or dark web diving, whatever it was called. He used to do that shit. And I checked that out every now and then. But it wasn't as fun as the stories and shit like that. But I was like, you know what? I want to get on it one time and see what it's, so yeah, I want to get on this. So I did all the research to download it and such like that, which you need what they call, if you don't know, I'm gonna basically give you like a little education on the dark web while you're fucking listening to this too tonight. So be prepared for that. Some of this shit you may know and some of it you may not know, but in order to access it, you can't go to Google and fucking just say dark web and fucking it'll take you there. You can't Bing it. You can't do that type of shit. So you have to get like a different router, and I don't mean, or not a router, I mean a different browser, and not Firefox, not Chrome, not Internet Explorer. That they don't even have that anymore, do they? But you have to get a different browser, and it's called the Onion router, or the Onion browser, or whatever it's called, or Tor for short. Is what they usually call it, Tor. And, and this actually comes in play later because, like, I remember downloading it, right? and I'm sitting at my computer downloading it. It takes a minute to download it, and so all of a sudden, bloop, like that little noise for Snapchat goes off. And I was just like, okay, so I look at my phone, it was a Snapchat notification, anything about it. So whatever, took care of that. So I download the Onion browser or the Onion network, whatever, Tor, the Onion router. We'll call it Tor for short. So again, I've done all the research for this. And people are saying it's dangerous. And I usually don't like to put my computer in danger because the computer is very fucking expensive to me. Because the computer I'm using now costs me like $400+ and I seriously like bought it on a credit card and paid it off in like $50 installments over like 3 months, I think, maybe 4, something like that, whatever the math is on that. Anyway, so I don't like put my computer in danger like that, which is why like when I download these podcasts and upload them and everything, I just delete them right away because I don't want like space taken up on my computer and shit like that. So I know this is very risky, to do this. So I download the Onion router or Tor, and I go ahead and get on there. And now, in order to go through, hold on, let me take a sip of this drink. Now, in order to essentially browse to the dark web, you look through what they call onion links. Your onion or the onion wiki, or I always fucking forget. But basically, it's a huge page with just a whole bunch of links. It's basically like a grab bag. Or imagine more like a fucking $5 bin at Walmart. You just dig through it. You might find something good. You might not. And like all the classics were there. Like if you ever listen to any dark web stories on fucking YouTube, like all the classics were there, hire a hitman, buy drugs safely to your house, hire a hacker, which that one I was actually interested in. I was just like, man, I could hire a hacker and fucking, cause like that's something I've always been interested in. I've always wanted to be a fucking hacker just so I can hack shit, just to see if people are talking about me and shit. Cause that's how like, not self-centered, but what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know. Paranoid, I guess, would be the best way. Like, are they laughing about me? Let me hack their shit. Buying PayPal accounts, which in theory sounds like a great idea. Like, oh, I'm gonna buy that PayPal account and get all that money. But to me, it always kind of bothered me because I'm just like, I'm not really buying that account. I'm kind of buying that person on top of all that too. So I was just like, I don't really know about that. And some of the shit you click on there, it could say shit like hire a hitman. You click in, there's nothing there. A lot of links like that. You're more than likely gonna come across dead links than you are, shit that works. I mean, you can click, 50 hire a hitmans and probably one of them's gonna work. And then that's not even a guarantee. That's not even a guarantee that shit's real. It could be planted there for the police. It could be just somebody just trying to get Bitcoin out of you because, a lot of the purchases through the dark web are not going to be made through PayPal, through Venmo, all that shit. It's going to be cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin being the main one. So I'm clicking these random fucking links and everything. And that's a common misconception about the dark web. You'll hear these stories online where like it's all fucking red rooms. Like, no, it's not. There's even there's shit on the dark web where it's just like, 101 cat photos. There's shit like that on there. You just have to fucking look for it. Again, it's that $5 bin at Walmart. You might find something good, you might not. But you never know. So as I'm looking through, I'm just kind of clicking shit, seeing there, and I'm looking at these like drug sites because I'm just like curious. I don't want drugs delivered to my house, but like it's like one of those things where like you're amazed, like you can do that. Like, oh my god, like if this site were legit, like I can just click here and have like fucking cocaine delivered to my house, like how fucked up is that, or like if it were legit, I can just fucking pay this dude a Bitcoin and shit like that, and like fucking boom, fucking this hitman's gonna take somebody out. And what kills me is that these hitman sites have like rules on their fucking site, like no high ranking politicians, no children, no, like I have rules and shit. I'm just like, how thoughtful of these hitmen and everything. Anyway, so I came across when I was searching it, and this was like back in fucking, when was this? This was 2015 is when this was. So, or around that time, yeah, because I was still at Hy-Vee when this happened. So I found this. I found, all these ones are just like click here for Hitman, and hire a hacker here and shit. This one just said simply the Secret Society, and I'm just like, all right, you've gauged my interest. Like that seems something that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna click on that. So I click on it, and it's like it brings me to like a fucking chat. And I'm like, okay, like, and there was nobody there, But then like the little box came up, and it was like, welcome user 213. So I guess it just automatically assigned me a user. I was like, okay, all right, I guess I'm user 213. I guess no names were given and shit like that. So all of a sudden, then I'm transported into the chat and shit like that. And it's just fucking quiet. Nobody saying anything. Like to the like left of the screen, it was kind of like a reverse AOL chat. Like if you go back to like the old days of AOL, like on the left side of the screen there was the big box where like all the messages came in. On the right was the all the names that were in the room and shit. But this was reversed, and it was like all black. So on the left it was like user 213, user 778, user this, user all this shit, right? Whereas on the right it was like a box with all the chat and everything. So here's where shit gets fucking weird. Okay, if it wasn't weird already, this is where shit gets weird. So all of a sudden, user 1 says in the chat room, okay, get this shit. User 1 says, welcome our new users tonight. User this, user 213. That's the number that like the fucking box gave me. I was like, oh fuck, So please welcome our new users and shit. And everybody's like, hello, hello, hello. I didn't say shit, because like I just want to sit back and see what's going on, So I didn't say anything. So user 1's, something along the lines of just like, hey, we're gonna have a good night tonight and such like that. So now I'm really fucking curious what's going on, because like at first I came in, the shit was blank. Then it said welcome user 213. This shit's like a reverse AOL screen here from like back in the day. Such like that. So like, there's already some red flags going on here. User 1, which I'm just like, okay, this has to be the guy who fucking runs this shit. Because you don't just get user 1. So all of a sudden user 1 posts a fucking onion link. So I was like, all right. So I click it, and it's like to a fucking, like a CCTV video, like a fucking gas station video. Which I'm like, for the dark web, you would think that like the video quality would be a little bit better at least. Like fuck, it's like 2015. Can we get like some better video quality here? But whatever, And this, oh man, this was fucked. So I click the link, and it opens up another fucking onion window, and there was a woman sitting there. Now I couldn't see her face. They had the face covered. They had like a fucking Jason type of thing going on. Like part 2 Jason, not like mask Jason, not hockey mask Jason. Oh no, burlap sack fucking Jason, no hole in it and shit. I can only tell it was a woman from like her fucking physique and shit like that. So, so I go back to the fucking chat after I look at that, and user 1 is like, okay, we're gonna open the bidding at 1 Bitcoin. Now I'm really fucking intrigued. It's like it's like a fucking car race. It's like watching an episode of Jersey Shore. You want to turn away, but you kind of want to see what the fuck's gonna happen next. So like, I don't remember all the user numbers because there was so many fucking numbers. But there was one user. It was just like one Bitcoin. Now I think 2015. I want to say Bitcoin rate was like, I don't know, what was it, 15 grand? I don't know, but still, one Bitcoin, a lot of fucking money. You know. So I'm just like, what the fuck, man? And then I think another guy went like 1.02. Finally it went to 1.07 before it just slowed down. And user one again came in and said, all right, if there's no more bids, then we're selling it to this guy or person, whatever. So I go back to the lady on the screen, and a guy in a ski, and this is a big burly Kane Hodder looking motherfucker. Big burly guy comes in, and he escorts her off and shit like that, And I go back. I'm like, okay, and like the screen goes off, like the CCTV shuts off. So I guess like that's all we get to see, So I go back to the chat, and user one was just like, okay, that was our show tonight. Thank you. And then boom, everything went fucking black. Like the screen, everything. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like what the fuck did I just watch? Did I just see fucking a slave auction here? Did I? Because like I couldn't really. It was a black and white CCTV. Like I couldn't really tell the fucking person. All I could tell was a woman from her physique. Maybe it was It wasn't a black person. It was some sort of light skinned person. I don't know. But like, what was it? A fucking slave trade? Was it a trafficking type of thing? Because all they did next was just take her off. So like, what the hell am I here to think now? So I'm like, okay. So I try and put that shit to the side, So I'm like, okay, you know what? I think that's enough dark web for me tonight. So, I get off the fucking Onion router and shit, or Tor, and, I go to YouTube and I'm like, all right, where's like the happy fucking dog videos or some shit? Or like, can I watch like some video game videos right now? Because like, that was just a little fucking weird for me, So the next day, I'm actually at work. And like now at work at the time, I actually had a friend. Her name was Lex. And Lex was also into the dark web shit. And she was like on the fence with it though. She was like, I kind of want to go on and try it, but also kind of don't, and such like that. And I've told her about the stories that I used to hear on YouTube and such like that. And she was like, wow, that's wild and such like that. So like a part of me wanted to tell her what I saw the night before, but a part of me was just like, nah, because like he was kind of fucking with me a little bit, because I was just like, because like a part of me, I noticed that people at home are thinking like, well, why didn't you call the cops? I mean, like, what the fuck am I going to say? Here's a link that like when you click on it, it's nothing but a black screen. Because I don't know how the fucking thing works. But like once the guy said, all right, well, once user one was just like, show is over, that's it. Like the shit went black. That's it. So I'm just like, okay, like, so it's not like I can call the cops and be like, I just saw a lady get so, and plus, I don't even know that's what happened to the lady. For all I know, fucking, they took her off and gave her ice cream and a fucking CD for all I know. I don't know. I mean, 1.07 Bitcoin, I mean, like, that's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of ice cream. That's a lot of CDs, especially in 2015. Anyway, so I was kind of bothered at work by it, so I didn't really tell Lex about it, and I was just like, I'm kind of going to sit on this one. Although, considering what's about to happen, I kind of wish I would have told somebody. So, I get off work, and I used to walk home, so like I walk home, so great, I get to walk home and think about all this shit. So I walk home, and I get home, and I was just like, I'm gonna see if I can go back, because sometimes it's very hard on the web, dark web that is, to like, okay, hey, I found that page, man, it's awesome, let me go back to it. It's very hard to find that shit again. Especially something like Secret Society. You wouldn't think that'd be easy to find again. So I get home, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back on there. I'm going to see if I can find this shit. Because, like, if it's happening again tonight, like, are they going to sell somebody else? Like, what the fuck, I want to see what's up. It's more like a morbid curiosity thing at this point. It's like, it's kind of like those Faces of Death movies or Traces of Death. Like, it's not something you're really craving to see. It's morbid curiosity. Like, you got to see how it happens. It's kind of like Vic Morrow, who was in the Twilight Zone movie. If you watch one of the Traces of Death movies, you get to see that tragic accident that was on the Twilight Zone movie that took his life. And, like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I got to see him die. It was just like, I got to see how this happens. You're not sitting there like, oh, I want to see Vic Morrow die. You just kind of want to see what happens and shit like that. So that's kind of like the feeling that I'm having here. So I go on, tour again, and I'm kind of like just looking through the links, not really clicking anything this time. I don't care, and don't, side note, don't click anything having to do with nudity on dark web. I'll save you time right there. Because it does not lead to anything good. It's either a dead link or just bad stuff. So I'll be damned. I'm scrolling through it. I'll be damned. There it is. Secret Society. That's all it says. The Secret Society. I'm like, fucking hey, there it is, man. Click, boom. I'm back in, blank screen. So I'm sitting there waiting. Because I'm like, something's got to happen. Like, if I sit here long enough, something's going to happen. Lo and behold, like, 15 minutes later, fucking Snapchat. I was like, fuck, man. I thought it was fucking. So I checked Snapchat, put that aside. 2 minutes after that, boom, screen pops up. It says, check this out. It says, welcome back, user 213. See, when I came in the first time, I thought it was just random number generator. Like it just, okay, here's a fucking IP address or a IP address, because the onion router. The whole thing with the onion router is that it masks your fucking IP address like an onion, so it peels back the layers. Hence the onion router tour. So I thought it was just random number generated. So I figured like when I came in this time, I'd have a new number. So I figured it'd say like welcome. So it said welcome back 213. I'm like, okay, that's a little strange, but okay. So it says welcome back 213, and I see all the numbers fucking on the side again. It's like user 627, all the fucking numbers again. About 5 minutes go by. Fucking user 1, right on schedule, man. He was just like, all right, welcome our new users. These numbers right here. Fucking everybody, hey there. And again, I'm not saying shit. I'm here for morbid curiosity. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to say hi to people. I want to see what the fuck you're gonna sell here tonight. So, oh man. So, I don't know. God, I really don't know how to explain this next part because, yeah. So, user 1, after the whole welcoming committee comes in and everything, he was like, okay, well, let's start our fun tonight, which I'm like, all right, like yesterday was kind of quick, or yeah, the day before or whatever. It was kind of quick because all they did was like show me a woman in a burlap sack. They allegedly sold her. I can't say that they did because I don't really know. And then some burly fucking dude took her off screen, and that was it. Again, for all I know, they fucking took her out to dinner. For all I know, I don't know. So, user 1's like, we're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm like, okay, So, the link comes up, the next onion link, so I click that. Again, brings me to the glorious CCTV footage, which I'm just like, again, can we get some better cameras? I think this time, though, shit's a little bit more real. And, oh man, so it's like I wouldn't say elder guy, probably, I want to say, he had to be like late 40s, early 50s, somewhere in there. He wasn't like decrepit or anything like that. Like he was tied to the chair, and if he was untied, he could have put up a fight. Let's just put it like that. Okay. He had like a fucking goatee going on, like a goatee light colored goatee because again it was black and white. So what the fuck, you know? Sitting in a chair. Dude next to him, big fucking again, big Kane Hodder motherfucker. I'm assuming the same one from the night before. Big Kane Hodder looking motherfucker, ski mask on. Can't see his face and shit like that. And next to the Kane Hodder looking motherfucker is this big like Santa sack or like burlap sack, whatever. It's like a big sack, and I'm like, okay, this is different. Like, you know, okay. So user one, like, okay, that's what you're playing for. Opening bid 1 Bitcoin again, and like, oh my god, dude, it was like they never fucking bid on anything before. Because like the night before when they were just bidding on the chick in a burlap sack. Now the chick in the burlap sack wasn't tied up or anything like that. She was standing there, burlap sack just stood there, and then when the bid was over, which didn't last long, Kane Hodder looking dude came, got her, took her off screen, that was it. This guy's tied up. He's got his hands behind the fucking chair. Um, again, I can see his face. He's got the fucking goatee going and shit like that. This dude looks like he's seen better days. But like I said, like if you were to untie him, he could probably give the Kane Hodder looking dude fucking, maybe a little bit of a run for his money to get the fuck out. Maybe. So 1 Bitcoin, boom, man, all of a sudden, man, we're up to like 1.70 Bitcoin. Fuck ton of money. Okay? By the time the bid ends, it's at 2.67 Bitcoin. 2.67 Bitcoin. That's how long you're like. That's one of those times where I'm just looking at the screen, like with my hand on my fist, like, how much further can it go? Because now I'm morbidly curious. Because I'm just like, if big dude just took the chick off screen, what are we doing here? What is that sack here? I don't, like my brain is saying one thing, like, what this is adding up to. But like the other half is just like, there's no way this is what it's adding up to. Come on, just keep watching. So finally at 2.67 Bitcoin, nobody else bids. User one's like, okay, we're going to close it out to fucking, I don't remember the number again. There was so many, nobody had a name. It was just all numbers. Everybody had a user number and such like that. So just for the sake of the argument, we'll say user 2. Okay. So user 2, won at 2.67 Bitcoin and shit. So, so he wins and they're like, okay, we're going to confirm the payment and then we'll start. I'm like, start what? So boom, I go back to the fucking link and we're still there. Like big burly guy hasn't taken him away. He hasn't untied him or anything like that. He's just kind of standing there with like his arms crossed, kind of like a bouncer at a club and shit, like waiting to check ID, like, yeah. So I'm just like, what's about to happen is not really going to happen, is it? Like, like this is fucked, So now I'm getting like a little concernicus, because I'm just like, there's no way this is going to happen, is it? So, so after a few minutes, user 1 comes back and he says, okay, we've confirmed the payment. Okay, now user 2, what would you like? I'm like, what do you mean, what do you like? What are we taking fucking, I would like chicken and broccoli. Like, what are we doing? Food orders? Like what? All of a sudden, all the other fucking, or not all of them, I would say at least most of them are just saying shit like, mallet, machete, fucking axe. And I'm like, please don't tell me that shit's in the bag. Please don't tell me that shit's in the bag and shit. Finally, user 1, I'll never fucking forget this. User 1 said, whoa, calm down. User 2, or whatever number he was, user 2 won, so he gets to pick the instrument of destruction. I'm like, oh, this is not fucking good. This is not good at fucking all. Like, did I just find the elusive fucking red rooms? Now, in dark web world, a red room is where you virtually watch somebody, fucking die. And, it's always been a fucking folklore, so to speak. And I have a feeling that I think I'm about to fucking witness one here. Because, like, now this is getting fucked, So, after a moment, user 2 says machete. And so I go right fucking back to the video. Because I want to see, because I got two windows up, but like one's for the chat and one's for this fucking live feed video that I'm watching. So I go back, and again, this is all in black and white and shit. But like, I really wish I could fucking describe it better to you, but like, they're at a good distance where like, you could see them, you can't hear it, but like I can see what this guy's, I definitely saw what this guy went through. Whew. So I go back to the video, and all of a sudden I see big burly guy. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a cell phone. And again, there's no sound. It's like, like I said, it's like you're watching a gas station robbery, and you just like see him like talking into the phone, and then he nods, and then he puts the phone down, and then he reaches into the fucking Santa sack that's next to him. Okay. Oh, I forgot to say what he picked. Oh, fuck. Yeah, user 2 fucking says machete. I forgot about that. Sorry. I forgot to tell you guys that. He says machete and then makes that phone call and everything. So the fucking big burly guy starts reaching into the fucking Santa sack, and lo and behold, a fucking machete comes out. And I was just like, I don't like where this is going at all. So now, morbid. Again, that should be the title of this episode, is fucking morbid curiosity. But now this big burly guy is like massaging it on like his arms, like rubbing it up and down on his arms, like centrally, which I'm just like, shit, And he takes the machete and just snip, just put the little slice in him right there on the arm, and you again, it's black and white, but I can see fluid coming down this dude's fucking arm, and I can see like the mouth moving on this guy, the goatee moving and shit like that. I wouldn't say it's moving. I can see his mouth open, and he's probably not having a good time, is what I'm assuming here. So then, like, the big burly guy, he walks behind the chair, and then he goes to the other side, and again, just kind of rubs the fucking machete, essentially, and then snip, right there, like above the elbow, like right above the fucking elbow. So like there's the arm, there's the elbow, then you go up a little bit, snip, just right there. Because the guy in the fucking tied up in the chair, he was wearing like a wife beater, So I'm just like, this is really fucking happening. I was like, should I fucking say something? Like, I mean, what the fuck am I gonna say? What am I gonna say that's gonna, So, boom, back to the chat. So I clicked back to the chat, and fucking these people are fucking loving it. I mean, to be fair, okay, hey, there's sick people in the fucking world, okay? And if this is what gets your jollies off, hey, whatever, okay? But, to be fair, all he did was 2 cuts on the arm, and these people are losing, like, fucking, like the Beatles just came back, man. You would have thought the Beatles just returned and just did a 4-song set or some shit. So, user 2 says something in the chat. And he says, he said one fucking word that's going to haunt me for fucking ever now because of what happened next. Okay? And that word was toes. 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 And user 1 said, okay. So I'm like, what? Huh? Boom, back to the fucking video feed. All of a sudden, like the dude, the big burly guy, he left his phone on the chair, the arm of the chair. So he walks back around the chair, he picks up the phone, and again, you see him just answer it, and he's kind of like talking, and then he nods like whoever on the other end can fucking see him. Well, I guess he could, in a sense. So he nods, hangs up the phone, this time puts it back in his pocket. Which I'm like, why don't you just do it the first time? But whatever. So, all of a sudden, the big burly fucking dude gets down on one knee and grabs the dude's leg. Now the dude's like trying to like move his legs so like he can't grab his legs and shit like that. And takes the machete, snip, just put the little cut in his leg because the dude's wearing shorts too. Put the little cut in the other leg so he'd stop like moving his leg so much, which I don't get how that worked because I would have moved my leg more, but whatever. So then he holds the dude's leg, right? And he's wearing like a fucking, not a penny loafer, but like, I don't know, it was a shoe without laces. I don't know, probably like a slide on or some shit. I don't know. So like he's holding the guy's fucking foot, pulls off the shoe, uh, pulls off the sock, right? Now he's cut the other leg at this point just so he could get to this fucking foot. And oh my god. So now he stands up. Big burly dude he stands up and puts his foot like on the not the arch, but like the top of the foot, but the toes are exposed. You know, and all of a sudden he takes that fucking machete and like remember, this is a big Kane Hodder looking guy. You know, like fuck, I wouldn't be surprised if it was fucking Kane Hodder. I mean, maybe Kane Hodder needs enough fucking another day job. I don't know. But you know, I could, you know, buy this happening. So the guy's standing on his foot. Guy's already been cut twice in the fucking arm, then one in the leg. So then he takes the machete, boom, right across the toes, and like one clean sweep takes off 4 of the fucking toes. Didn't get the pinky one, which in a way I was kind of like, yeah, 4 to 5, you kind of suck, but whatever. I wasn't going to say that. So the big toe, the other toes fucking come off. And the only reason I know that is because after that, he let go of his foot with his own foot, and he moved his foot back, and the toes are still there. And I'm just like, oh. Back to the chat real quick. Woo! Fucking people loving it. Boom, back to the video. Because I'm just like, all right, I can't deal with people fucking like, woo, in this and shit. So, if that wasn't enough for you, you know, blood's now gushing out of this man's foot. No tourniquet, you know, because heaven forbid they help the man. And just so you know, this is like a blank room. Like there's no discerning features to this fucking room, so it's not like I can be like, they're in this kind of room. I have no fucking idea. So, if that wasn't enough for you, the guy, obviously, who's tied to the chair is fucking screaming at this point. Again, I can see the goatee fucking, like, you know, I can see his toes are just fucking cut off, you know. The big burly guy puts down the machete. And he just like drops it like right in front of the chair and shit. Reaches down with his fucking hands, picks up the toes that he cuts off. All right, pulls the man's like head back, who's screaming. You know, mind you, he pulls his head back, shoves the toes into his mouth, and then like kind of, you know, forces his mouth closed. You know, and then just kind of holds it for a second. And then after that, you kind of see him, like, you know, let go, and then the guy spits the toes out, which is... Man. So after that, I'm just like, okay. So I go back to the chat, and I see user number 2 again. And he says one word. He says, hammer. I was like, no, come on, no. Like, what else can you fucking do to this guy? Come on. You know? So I go back to the video screen. Blood still shooting out of this fucking guy's foot. Blood still trickling out of the 2 cuts in his arm. Not to mention the one in his leg. That was just to distract him, just so the fucking big burly dude could grab his fucking foot for this, you know, like, toe thing. Okay? So, big burly dude starts reaching through the fucking Santa sack again. And I'll be damned if he doesn't pull out a fucking hammer. I was like, you know what? Okay, you know, I have a moral compass to a fucking degree, you know, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time for somebody to fucking say something. So I go back to the chat and I'm just like looking for anybody to fucking say something. I was like, I don't want to be the only person fucking saying something here. So I finally just typed in the chat. I finally just got brave enough and said, like, all you fuckers are sick, you know, and I go back to the chat. As I hit send, or I go back to the video as I hit send, all of a sudden, the video goes off. And I was just like, oh my God, finally. Oh, fuck. We did something right here. I go back to the chat. All the other users are gone, except for user 1. And it's just like, what's so sick about it? User 1 says. I was like, you're torturing this man just for money here. I mean, somebody should call the cops on you guys. Which, in retrospect, probably not the best thing I should have said. You know, user one then says, all he said was, that would not be wise. Boom, screen goes black, nothing. Nothing, no users, no nothing. I'm like, okay. Like, that's odd. Ah! Fucking my Snapchat went off. Scared the fucking shit out of me. So I open it up, and it was just all, and then here's the fucking kicker to it. Here's the fucking thing, okay? So I pick it up, I swipe it open, and I go to the messages, and it says, number one has sent you a message. I was like, okay, you know what? Nah. So I opened the message, blank. Nothing there. And I'm looking at my fucking phone just horrified. Like, I don't know what to fucking do now. Like, you know, I've heard these stories on YouTube, and now I'm fucking in it. You know, so like, okay, yeah, we're done with the dark web here. Oh yeah, we're fucking done. So I uninstall fucking Tor. I don't want nothing to fucking do with this shit anymore. You know, I'm done. You know, so I'm at home the next day. I'm off that day, and I'm laying on my couch. Now my couch is in my living room, and my living room obviously has the front door. And in Iowa, you have mailboxes, but you don't have the traditional mailbox where they're outside your fucking house. For some reason, like 90% of fucking mailboxes in Iowa are by your front door. So there's usually like a little fucking door you pull down, you put the mail in, and you close it back up, boom, the door. So most of the time, I hear the postman, you know, kind of open my door, you know, mail door, put the mail in, boom, you know, and then leave. So that's how I know the mail's here when I'm sitting in the living room. So this day, I'm sitting in the fucking living room. And, whew, man. So I'm sitting in the fucking living room, and I hear, you know, I hear like some ruffling, you know. You know, I was like, oh, mail's here, cool. So I go over to the front door, open the front door, I look outside, I don't see the mailman anywhere. Usually I see him like walking to the next yard or some shit, because they walk house to house here and shit when they do that. I don't see him anywhere. I'm like, fucking, okay, whatever. So I open the mailbox, I look inside, it's just a plain white envelope. Plain white envelope, no address, no name, nothing. And I'm like, okay, you know? So curiosity got the best of me. So even though I had no name or anything like that, I flip it over to open it, and on the back, like on the seal and everything, fucking 213. I was like, oh shit. I was like, this isn't fucking good at all. You know, I was like, this isn't good. You know? So I fucking opened the envelope. Fucking, I, you know, kind of tear it open. Kind of like rip the corner, put my finger in, tear it open my finger, you know? I fucking pull it out, and inside is a fucking picture. And it's a picture of me, like looking like confused. And it took me a second to realize what this picture was. It was a picture of me from when I checked the fucking Snapchat from number one. And I'm like, okay, like, no. Like, no. So for some, you know, instinctively, I just kind of like flipped the picture over. You know, like some, you know how you just sometimes instinctively like flip a piece of paper over or something like that. So instinctively, I flipped the fucking photo over. And on the back of the photo, I'll never fucking forget this. On the back of the fucking photo, it said, don't come back. And I was like, oh, you do not have to worry about that. Because like I said, I uninstalled fucking Tor. I've never been on the dark web again. And you'll never find me on the dark web again. So, that was my one and only experience with the dark web. So, that was your story that you didn't ask for. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's episode. And it is October this month. So I just want to wish you guys a very happy early Halloween. And again, from the Artist Version 1, myself, be breezy.